Hey everybody, it's me, Tayo, and I'm here with my new friend Peanut. Why don't you introduce yourself, Peanut? Big round of applause for the newest person to move to this island. Yeah. Anyway, I've been trying really hard not to get spoiled on anything. It looks like there might be something revolving around Zoro. I did catch a thumbnail, but I haven't heard anything beyond that. I haven't even looked at the chapter. I swear to you, I have not looked at the chapter for this one. So, without further ado, let's get started. I think this is going to be a good chapter. So, here we go. Okay. Gotta be honest, even if I had looked at this chapter title in advance, I would not have been able to tell you what this is. This is Shimotsuki Kozaburo. Anyway, I think it's one of Zoro's attacks. I couldn't tell you. Alright, let's click on the chapter. Okay, yay. It looks like we get a It looks like we get a chapter page this week. That's always nice. Oh, hey. Would you look at that, Peanut? It's Smoker and Tashiki. It's good to see them. I know they're not Kuzan, but hey, that's pretty good. Okay, let's see what we got going on at this chapter page here. Looks like Tashiki's playing with these cute penguins. They're like doing some type of game with these penguins. Wait, are those supposed to be like, Super Sentai? I'm trying to figure out what's going on in this picture, and then you got one of the penguins staring at Smoker in the background. So now we will look below to see exactly what's happening in this picture. Request by Soda Susu. Tashiki plays the villain for baby penguins that make believe as heroes. Yeah, okay, I thought so. It's like Super Sentai, right? So that's a pretty funny idea right there. Okay, and we're getting into the chapter now. It's time to get serious. Okay. Oh boy. Guys, this is it. We're getting to it now. This is the chapter Zoro versus King. I think this is going to be big, guys. I think this is going to be really big. Okay, so then, Zoro versus King. Enma, stop draining my energy! Uh-oh, we're picking up where we left off, where Zoro was getting his energy drained. Something tells me I'm going to regret not bringing along Melba for this one. She's such a big Zoro fan. Okay. Without permission! Trouble in paradise. Trouble in paradise. I can't believe King said that. This is bad. King's coming in for the attack. Huh? What are you trying to pull? Ah, a direct hit. What the heck is going on here? There was Zoro hit King with a sword, and then there was a massive explosion. I am very confused. I don't know what's going on with this. Skull Dome, left brain tower, Pleasure Hall. Mwahaha! You just called the pirate hunter. Right? He doesn't stand a chance against King. He's a surviving Lunarian. Yeah, Lunarian. What's a Lunarian again? We don't really have any information about that, so, Queen, if you could explain what's going on here, that would be much appreciated. They were all supposed to be eradicated. Those monsters could thrive in any inhospitable environment the world threw at them. Okay, cool. Learning lots of good stuff about, the Lunarians. Nice. They're basically practically extinct race in One Piece, so always nice to learn more about those guys. In the distant past, they were considered gods. How could beings like that get wiped out? That's something you'll have to find out for yourself. Okay, so that's enough of Sanji. We're moving back to... We're basically moving back to Zoro's fight with King. Looks like we're going to be spending a lot of time here this episode, which I am definitely happy about that. Close one. I'd be a goner I'd be a goner if I used armament hockey a second later. Okay, so I was like a little thrown off there. I was gonna say he'd be a goner if he used armament hockey, but I had to finish reading the whole thing. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. Okay, how is he still unscathed? He just blew himself up. One sword style. Lethal Lion Song. Lethal Lion Song. That's, I've heard of Lion Song before, but lethal? That's, what exactly makes it lethal, Zoro? This a new type of Lion Song? Oh gosh, he's doing that crazy Looney Tune shit again! Here we go! He's pulling his head back just like in the last episode. The last chapter, my bad. What? Nothing? Imperial? No way. That was one of my strongest techniques. Stop it, Enma! Oh boy, this is bad. This is getting bad for Zoro. That dang Enma keeps draining his energy. No way. That was one of my strongest techniques. Stop it, Enma! Tempura! Not now! Udon! Oh no. Zoro! He got hit! He got hit by that attack! This is really bad.
I'm not enjoying this.
Holy crap, look at that! It just broke those rocks like it was nothing. Zoro's in big trouble now.
Let's fucking go, bro.
A swordman beaten by his own sword. That's a first. Sendai Katetsu!
Right from the start.
Okay, we're getting a little bit of flashback. And you guys all know that when it comes to flashbacks in anime, they give you supreme power! Supreme power! You already wield Sendai Katetsu. That is one of mine. What, really? It's cursed. I can't sell it to you, moron. If you end up dead, your blood would be on my hands. I'll take it. Okay, honestly, that right there was one of the best Zoro moments in the whole show. He's like, oh, it's a cursed blade. Yeah, I am all about this cursed blade. That was one of the most badass moments for Zoro. Okay, so then we move on. Risking yourself to save a sword? Have you lost it? Ugh, it burns. To save a sword? Oh yeah, so Zoro drops a sword and then he jumped after it. Have you lost it? Flap. Okay, it looks like he's kicked Zoro into the ground. Ugh, it burns. Ugh, what a relief it didn't fall off the island. Wado, Ichimonji. Sensei, please let me have her sword. Okay, it's yours. I'll get stronger. Okay, this is really interesting. We're going through all of Zoro's flashbacks about his swords. Oh, that's cool. Are we going to see the one where one of his best swords got rusted to destruction? That was really sad. But at least he still has some awesome swords. I'll get stronger. Stronger for the both of us. Strong enough that my name reaches up to the heavens. I'm going to be the world's greatest swordsman. Come on, Zoro. You gotta get serious now, bro. It must be fate. Wow, gotta be honest. Usually we only see this many flashbacks in the anime, not the manga. But this has gotta be really important for Oda to be whipping out this. Must be fate. That white katana of yours is the Wado Ichimonji. It was forged by the same man that made Enma, the master swordsmith Shimotsuki Kozaburo. Wait, wasn't that the name of the chapter? Yeah, it was. Okay, getting back to where I was. I didn't have time to think about it before, but how did a sword from Wano wind up in the East Blue? Imperial Twin Blade! So, you've picked up your 3 swords. Enma!
No! Fuck you!
Zoro. Okay, lots of action going on here. That's why I'm like skipping over this. I'm just looking at, okay, action. Man, Enma is really draining that energy out of Zoro. His arm looks really messed up now. Okay, here comes King with a big attack.
Anyway.
It looks like Zoro's ground is crumbling beneath him. And then we get a little flashback of Momonosuke. Zoro Joro, I was told not to say Sanachi. It's just something I heard from an old geezer in my village. What? I've never used the word myself. That geezer always sat by the shore. I never bothered learning his name. And I only found out he was Kuina's What? 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 What is this? Wait, hold on. What? Kuina's grandfather? Hold on. Is this new? It's like put in this flashback area. It's in gray, but for some reason, this looks like I don't remember anything about like Kuina's relations. This has got to be new, right? I figured if this came up in the manga, I would have remembered it because this is pretty important shit. This is like about. Okay, so the geezer always sat by the shore. I never bothered learning his name. And I only found out he was Kuina's grandfather after he croaked. The master swordsmith, Shimotsuki Kuzaburo, left this country illegally over 50 years ago. So that was Kuina's grandfather? So that's why Kuina's father had that awesome sword? Damn, they're dropping some big bombs here. This is crazy. Is Zoro sleeping? Now? Now of all time, Zoro is sleeping? What the heck is going on? 13 years ago, the East Blue. Oh! 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 Is this Zoro lore? Are we getting Zoro lore? Oh my gosh. 13 years ago, the East Blue. Shimotsuki Village, Zoro's hometown. Ha! Yeah! Tsunachi. It's a battle cry that gives you courage. Oh, damn, son! We're getting some Zoro lore! Shock, 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 my friends! Shock, shock, shock indeed. And yet, I'm super, super pleased that we're getting this. Like, Zoro's been in dire need of some backstory for the longest time. It always felt like Zoro's backstory was lackluster. It's like, oh, he knows a girl, the girl beats him up, and then the girl dies, and he promises to carry on. That was it. That was his entire backstory. And I thought I didn't think it was bad, but I thought there wasn't that much to it. I thought it was kind of lame, to be honest. But this, we're seeing some more backstory for Zoro. So I am all for it. All for this, and I can't wait to see where Oda is taking us. Okay, so I don't think I'll use it. It sounds weird. Say, old man, is it true that you were a samurai? Everyone at the dojo says you were. Quiet, boy. You're gonna bring the Marines down on my head. Village geezer. Why would the Navy care? None of your business. Now scram, you snot-nosed brat. Screw you, you useless old windbag. You fed up with practicing at the dojo? I lost to Queen again. I need to train non-stop. What? But I don't have any money. It's fine. Take them. They're not much anyway. Oh, dude, he got some swords from this guy. Nice. Okay. It's fine. Take them. They're not much anyway. I can only make ones like these now. Listen. Swords exist to cut people down. When smiths create them, they ensure they can take as many lives as possible. Ugh! Each blade is like a person with unique disposition. A swordsman is one who tames the sword's wild nature and bends it to their will. It's a joke that deadly swords are believed to be cursed. That's just how named blades are. I consider it praise. Let the weak spread their nonsense. It means those swords fulfill their purpose well. I crafted my magnum opus. When I was still young, the temperament of that sword was something. You'd get the chills just holding it. I named the blade after the Lord of the Underworld. Oh. Oh. I think Zoro just realized something from this flashback here. He's got a shocked expression on his face. The Lord of the Underworld? Enma? Ooh, this is getting good. It's called Shimitsuki Village. That doesn't seem like a coincidence now. Did you know that the village was founded by pirates? My grandpa told me. The master swordsmith Shimitsuki Kozaboro left this country illegally over 50 years ago. That geezer was a samurai of Wano? He was the swordsmith Shimitsuki Kozaboro. God damn his name. Named blades stay vigilant. They wait patiently to find a swordsman worthy of them. It is said a sword chooses his wielder. That's what this is. It's testing me. The sword isn't acting out of malice. That means it's just not been measuring up. I've just not been measuring up to its standards. Oh, silly Zoro. You're telling me Odin was easily able to wield you? Then while this much hockey was pouring out of him, is that it, Emma? Look here, it's the pirate hunter, King-san. Let's help him take his head. We're sure to get a promotion if we do. Oh, my friends, you have chosen the exact worst time to come after Zoro. He's about to unleash his power. I can tell he's going to fuck you up if you attack him. Let's help him out. We're sure to get a promotion. What do? I can only appease it if I keep going all out with my hockey. But that could kill me. No, this is how it's meant to be.
Oh, I did. I actually beat them. Nice.
I see. So you've also got kingly ambitions. The world's greatest swordsman. That's perfect. The future king of the pirates shouldn't settle for anything less. Man, we are getting a lot of flashbacks in this chapter. I'm pretty shocked by this. Okay, so this is pretty much a Zoro is ready to go chapter. Building up. We're almost done. Let me just finish reading this last panel. I guess you're right, after all. I made promises to my captain and my oldest friend. Surpassing limits. So, I think we can determine now that Zoro and Sanji have both found themselves, they found their motivation, they're ready to kick ass, and we're finally going to be getting King and Queen getting taken down in the next few chapters, probably. Yet, we're not entirely done with the other fights yet. We still have Law and Kid versus Big Mom. We still have Rizo. Rizo, that guy. I can't believe that fight is still going on. I don't really care about that, just as long as it doesn't take up a full chapter. It, in my opinion, it doesn't deserve to take up its own chapter. I really don't care about much either of the participants in that fight. But yeah, so at this point, mostly about Zoro, Sanji, and then Kid and Law. And then, of course, you've got Yamato trying to do her thing. You've got Momonosuke trying to save the island. You've got Luffy. So we're really running out of fights here. We are really running out of fights, and I think that Zoro and Sanji, they're ready to finish theirs now. They've got their motivation. They're ready to bring out some big attacks and finish off their opponents, I think. Even though it doesn't look like King's got taken that much damage so far, I think that Zoro's about to do it. But yeah, that was the chapter. What did you think, Peanut? Okay guys, wow, that was a lot to take in. And yet, honestly, I feel like we may not end up talking that much about this chapter, because although a lot happened and we learned a lot about Zoro's past, I just don't feel like I can talk about it very much. But let's take a look. Let's see what we can make out of this chapter. So it starts out and Zoro is fighting with King, and he pokes King, and then there's a massive explosion that it's like, what is King, an electrode? Like, what is going on with him? He could just blow up whenever he wants. And of course you've got Enma continuously draining energy from Zoro causing his arm to continuously get all scrawny and messed up. We did get a brief moment of Sanji and Queen, but it was pretty much there for Queen to be like, "Ah, yes, Zoro is going to have a big trouble taking on King because King is a Lunarian, and Lunarian, well, you don't know much about it yet, but they were a race that went extinct years ago, and they could live in just about any environment." So yeah, we got to learn a little about Lunarians. That was pretty much it for Sanji. And though Sanji did have a good point where he was like, how could a race that invincible go extinct? He's like, you'll have to find that out for yourself. I'm going to destroy you with a beam now. And then that was pretty much all we got from any other characters in this chapter. This was a Zoro chapter through and through. Like, we got a little bit of Sanji and Queen, and now we're back to Zoro. And Zoro tried his most powerful technique. And his most powerful technique was Lethal Lion Song, which I'm like, Lethal Lion Song? Really? You couldn't have thought up a better name than that? But okay, so that's like one of Zoro's most powerful techniques, Lethal Lion Song, which is like a one-sword technique. He used it on King, and King is still just fine. And then King stretches his head back in that ridiculous Looney Tunes-like fashion to fling it at Zoro again. And then Enma's once again draining his arm to nothing. And we got a lot of flashbacks in this chapter. It's like talking to various characters about Zoro's swords. Kind of putting the puzzle pieces together in regards to the past of... we got a lot about the history of Zoro's swords, like where he got each sword, and then we learned a bit more about his village. And then we went back to the battle between Zoro and King, and how Zoro's almost falling to his death trying to protect a sword. But can we really blame Zoro, because those swords are his life? So of course he's going to try to protect the sword. We got a nice image of Kuina. Only found out after Kuina's grandfather after he croaked. So yeah, that was a nice... We haven't seen Kuina in like forever. I mean, obviously she's dead, but still, we haven't seen much of Zoro's past in this entire series. And we get this panel of Kuina crying. I almost said Kuina dying. Gee, I wonder why I'd say Kuina dying. It's not like she's known for doing that. But yeah, Kuina crying over her grandfather dying. And then we got a little bit of more information about the Sword Master Smith, Shimotsuki Kuzaburo, and I don't know why. I really don't. But for some reason, that name is a labor to say. Every time it comes up, I'm like, Shimotsuki Kuzaburo. I'm like, how am I pronouncing this? Okay, so yeah, Shimotsuki Kuzaburo left this country illegally. Okay, so yeah, more just kind of putting all the puzzle pieces together of Zoro's swords and the blacksmith that made 2 of his swords, I think. And then we get this shot of him. I'll just call him the village geezer because that's what the dang manga calls him. And you gotta love Oda's designs, man. This is like, he's got these eyebrows that are going straight out away from his head, and he's got that crazy face. But yeah, the eyebrows going off, sharply off his head is pretty funny. And of course, Zoro being a little kid, he's not giving him any respect whatsoever. Everyone Dojo says you are a samurai. Quiet, boy. You want the Marines down on me? And then he gave Zoro, I guess, his first pair of real swords. Wait a second. Hold on. Hold on. I just realized something. Guys, we gotta go back in time. Okay, yes, mind blown. So, originally, when we saw Kuina versus Zoro when they were little kids, he shows up with these real swords, and we never know exactly where these swords come from. I mean, back then, of course, it wasn't really a big deal. It's like, hey, whatever, he got the swords, so it doesn't really matter. Moving along with the story. But apparently he got them from this guy. So That's funny. I never would have imagined we'd eventually discover where he got these swords from. But yeah, we get a little bit of lore about cursed swords. Not exactly being cursed, but more like they're just too powerful to be used. And if you're a really good swordsman, cursed swords are they're just swords that are hard to be tamed. And this guy's like, yeah, you can continue calling them cursed, but they're just ignorant fools doing that. So it turns out that the sword that Zoro has been carrying around all this time, it may not have actually been cursed. It may just be a very powerful blade, and Zoro was strong enough to use it. So we're learning a lot of interesting stuff. We didn't learn that much about Lunarians in this chapter. We did learn a lot about swords in this chapter. And after that flashback, Zoro's putting everything together, why his town was named the way it was, who the old geezer was, and asking him if he was a samurai. But no, it was just this incredible blacksmith that moved into the East Blue. And then Zoro has that realization as like, wait a second. The Lord of the Underworld. This was made by that old geezer. Enma. Did you know the village was founded by pirates? My grandpa told me. The master swordsmith Shimitsuki Kuzaburo left this country. Okay, that geezer. So yeah, he's the founder. This blacksmith is the founder of Zoro's village. And like Zoro's basically putting two and two together. He's like taking the knowledge of the blacksmith back from his village and the guy in there and the guy from Logetown or Roguetown, however you want to pronounce it. But yeah, the guy who sold him the cursed sword. He's like basically taking all these memories from the past that he learned about swords and putting them together and being like, wait a second, the sword is testing me. The sword isn't acting out of malice. That means it's just not been measuring. I've just not been measuring up to its standards. You're telling me Odin was easily able to wield you, even while this much hockey was pouring out of him? Is that it, Emma? Look here. It's the pirate hunter. But yeah, okay, so this was the big thing at the end of the chapter. And yes, I noticed that Zoro was using Conqueror's Haki. Of course, because these guys get knocked out. But what I didn't notice initially was that if you look closely at Zoro's swords, you see swirling flames moving around them. And my theory is that is actually Conqueror's Haki. That Zoro is wrapping his swords in Conqueror's Haki in the same way that Luffy is wrapping his fist in Conqueror's Haki to damage Kaido. So, if I'm correct in assuming this means that Zoro now stands a chance of actually damaging King. Because I'm sure that King has Conqueror's Haki too, but this is really going to even the playing field. I don't know why, but I had a really hard time, like, talking about this chapter. Probably because there's a lot of, names of swords, names of people making swords, names of villages made by people that made swords, and it just kind of threw me for a loop. It was definitely great to see just a little bit, just a peek into Zoro's past. And sorry about, not being able to talk more about this. It's just, I can sum it up as like Zoro loses to King, goes into flashback, learns about swords, comes back to fight King. That's like all this. This is a good chapter. I don't know why I can't talk about it properly, but I'd say that this is still a really good chapter. And if you're a Zoro fan, this is right up your alley. I've liked the previous two chapters more, but still, this chapter was absolutely necessary for going into the lore about the swords and cursed swords and the blacksmith who made them and yeah, all that. So it was great stuff. What did you think, Peanut? Yeah, guys, sorry that this has been a bit of a slow-moving reaction video. It's just, I don't know why. All this sword stuff is really hard to take in. Like, all these characters talking about sword stuff, and as much as I love Zoro, I really like Zoro a lot, I promise, but yeah, it's just a lot to take in. And I can tell you right now that I have never memorized which which sword is that? Other than Enma. Enma, I do know which one that is. But other than Enma, I don't really know the difference between any of Zoro's swords. I don't know the names. So if you're big into Zoro, like Zoro's swords, you know all the names of all of his swords, you know when he got them and all that stuff, then that's good for you. But unfortunately for me, I just don't remember that sort of stuff. I'm more into getting into like, oh, there's this character over here, and oh, this character, oh, they're showing off this power. But like Zoro swords, I like them, and if you're a Zoro fan, then I'm sure that you were really into this chapter. I enjoyed it too, but yeah, looking forward to next time, where hopefully we'll really get into a good battle where Zoro stands a chance, or maybe we'll move on to another character. So I really don't know what else to tell you. This is going to be a bit of a shorter episode because I just don't feel like there was that much for me to say. But yeah, I liked it. I just and this is just a personal thing. I liked it, but I couldn't get into it that as much as like a Zoro fan would. But yeah, I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and we will see you. Are we on break? It doesn't appear that we're on break yet. As far as I can tell, I don't think we're on break. But, so yeah, if we're not on break, I'll join you guys next week for another reaction of One Piece. Hopefully it'll be a bit better than this one. Sorry if I didn't do a good job, but it's like... Why did I sit down? But it's like, I just don't know how to talk about all this sword stuff. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.